All right, y'all. We back for season 2, episode 153. We picking up. Naomi's birthday's coming up. Anita and Vernon are trying to figure out what they want to do for her birthday. Vernon thinks there may be an ulterior motive as to why Bill is having Naomi around so much. Kat and Chelsea were still at Uptown trying to figure out what they wanted to do with their upcoming launch, and Chelsea is still receiving those unknown phone calls. Kat answers the phone and she said she could hear the person breathing. Leslie stops by the police station to visit Marcel. She said that she messed up a good thing. We gonna. I thought that was over with. I was so happy. Um. Also, Dani stops by the office to speak to Naomi, which is a continuation from last week's episode on Friday. And Naomi isn't there just yet, but she does get into an argument with Hayley about, same old stuff, you know? And Naomi updates Dani on why Hayley almost got kicked out of the hospital when Ashley escorted her out with the security. So that's where we are right now so far. Just released from the hospital. And he already is telling Ashley what he ain't gonna do, and now he don't want to do his cardiac rehab. You can't make a horse draw water, or whatever the people say. Come to water. You can't draw a horse to the water. Maybe that's what it is. Bill ain't the horse. He can't get drawn to water. That's what I'm saying. And it's just like you being uncooperative is just falling right into Hayley's scheme. Ashley then calls Naomi and informs her that to keep close tabs on your dad because he's been discharged, and she wants to make sure that he's following up because she don't want him to have to come back to the hospital. He say he don't want to have to come back to the hospital, but his actions are not falling in line with what he's saying. Also, Dani was there with Naomi at the office, and so Naomi asked Dani, she was going to stop by the house later to check on her daddy. Did she want to come? She said no. Dani is trying this whole thing where she hasn't come to terms yet. Her feelings about Bill, she's confused. So she's staying away from Bill because she thinks that's what's best because she's trying to honor Andre. Also, Kat just went with Chelsea to the hospital. Ashley told them both that Bill had just been discharged and should be on his way home. Or I think Madison said that. But either way, they went to the hospital to see Madison. And Chelsea is about to tell Madison, about the calls and everything that, she's been enduring during the day and that she's actually. Boy, Hayley ain't wasting no time with them super doses, ain't it? Lord, they ain't been in the house 5 minutes. She done sent Bill upstairs to take a shower just so she could prepare him a drink cocktail. Literally, a cocktail. Lord have mercy. Mm-mm-mm. My God, on today. Mm-mm-mm. I was hoping that somebody would walk in and bust her, but, we're going to get it soon. But, yeah, Madison and Chelsea were talking at the hospital. Chelsea just told Madison about the 2 phone calls that she got. And Chelsea says that she feels like this is just the beginning and that Allison is trying to come back. So, y'all, how y'all think this going to go if Allison does make a return? Like, I don't know where the story could even go, but I guess I'll just have to see, huh? She got Bill to drink that drink. Ugh. I just don't even know what to even say. Anyway, in other news, I don't care about Leslie and Marcel, what they got going on. Leslie apologized. There was a brief stint where she did bring up Alan and say how Alan tolerated her. I would like to know a little bit more about that. I need a flashback of her when she first met Alan and a glimpse into their marriage, just slightly. Also, Kat went to Jacob and told Jacob that Chelsea has received 2 phone calls from an unknown number. Jacob told Kat that, Allison is in a forensic facility or something like that. And that, if she was making a call, it would come from a recorded line. And then Kat was like, not if she wasn't using the hospital phone. Exactly, Kat. Let him know. And then it's just like, Dani went to Anita and Vernon's house, and, she let them know that Naomi was, in line for their plans for her birthday, and that she would set aside some time for Bill for her birthday because Bill just got released from the hospital. And Anita just told Dani, Lord, I'm gonna get it right. Anita just told Dani that, the last time her and Bill were this close was when they were still together, and it's concerning to her. So they still are concerned about, Dani and her feelings for Bill. And I do think eventually, sometime soon, they will find out about the entanglement in the elevator. But I'm just like, now, going back to Hayley and Bill, her giving him that cocktail after he just got out of the hospital, just went to cardiac arrest, and then that happening, girl, they're gonna think you did it. You see what greed to do, and being hungry for money. It's just a sad shame. And Bill just walked into the trap, dumb as a doornail. My God, on today, so interesting. Beyond the gates, good job with that daydream. Cause I was about to say, I know good and dog well that man didn't collapse in front of them children, and he stopped breathing. Cause I just was just like, child, that's crazy. Anyway, so Hayley is upset that, Chelsea and Naomi just popped up because they initially agreed to call, but they did not call since Bill was let go from the hospital. And so while Bill and Hayley were kissing, something was notifying, making some noise or something. So I'm guessing it was them on the camera, and so he let them in. Also, Vernon and Anita are still having a talk with Dani because they're trying to get Dani to understand that, this whole thing with Hayley possibly having an affair, and Bill being a victim is none of her concern, none of her business. And even if, things between Hayley and Bill so fall apart, they don't want Dani to be there to pick up his pieces because, Anita ever so gently, reminded Dani that he wasn't so friendly and so courteous to her. And I said, ooh, boop, boop. But nonetheless, we, unfortunately, Dani got to come to terms with this on her own. Jacob ended up calling the facility to check and see what Allison's whereabouts were. They say that she was still locked up and that a guard will go through her room and search for a phone. They will also check the records around the facility to make sure that she did not have any access to any official phones. That way she cannot contact Chelsea. Kat is beyond grateful because, as we know how much Chelsea means to Kat. And she just want to make sure that she has Chelsea's best interest in heart, especially with the whole thing going on with the new launch and them going to Tokyo and everything like that. And because of, just watching out for Chelsea's well-being. What else? Oh, Leslie and Marcel. They backing up and up. That's all I can say. Bill did also reassure, Naomi about the whole conversation he had with Tomas, telling him that he actually said something to Tomas and that he let Tomas know that he was out of line and that, he'll be back at the law firm to make sure everything is straight, which means, that lifts Naomi of her duties for filling in for him, as well as saying, to Chelsea that, they're going to get vindication from Madison because Madison is a good girl and, he likes having Madison around. And, that Madison doesn't deserve to be taken advantage of because none of this is her fault. And so they will have their day in court. I think that's all I have for Beyond the Gates today. But yeah, y'all. Let me know what y'all thought of episode 153. And I guess I'll be back tomorrow.